Hello, and welcome to Technology Today, powered by ohmtown.com. It is March 3rd, 2024. This is Season 1, Episode 2 of Technology Today. Today we're going to be talking about finding fingerprints, display technology, NIST Cybersecurity Framework 2.0, renting a printer, ending E. Coli, a supercomputer on wheels, universal antivenom. It's freezing in here, and at the moment it is. Green ammonia and social robots. I still don't have an intro for Technology Today, but we're all powered by ohmtown.com, so we'll see you on the other side of this. Like the last time, I'm not going to do any transitions between any of the articles, but hope to see you here. And we're going to go through 10 articles that have already been selected. I did the rundown just now, and let's get straight on into it. But I had just gone over to Technology Today, and I noticed scientists discover key to making plant-based protein with good texture. I wonder. Maybe we'll talk about that. Not today, but next week. We'll see. Maybe in ohmTown Daily. I don't know. First article for tonight is over in the Mobile channel. Scientists develop biocompatible. You know what? Let me restart that. Let me back up. I'm Merwatt, that is ohmtown.com, and Technology Today is the channel we're watching, and up above is the visualizer for the sentient AI. You want to say hi? Sorry about that.
Good evening, ohmTown citizens. Welcome to Technology Today.
And the hot mess that it is. This is how the sausage is made, and sometimes you don't want to know. So let's do that again. The first article for today is in the Mobile channel. Scientists develop biocompatible fluorescent spray that detects fingerprints in 10 seconds. That's right. Instead of having to dust everything like an animal, scientists have developed...
Instead of trying to ruin the entire crime scene with that dust.
That's right. Scientists have developed a water-soluble, non-toxic fluorescent spray that makes fingerprints visible in just a few seconds, making forensic investigations safer, easier, and quicker. You just spray down the whole room, spritz it. The article's over at phys.org, University of Bath. No pyridine group, no metal ion, fast imaging, portable system for crime scene. You spray the stuff, it starts to glow under fluorescent light, and then you take a picture, and it's apparently compatible with DNA extraction, so you can take a sample and do some amplification, and then do a genetic breakdown to see, sequence to see maybe some characteristics of the person that did it, whatever the crime is.
I mean, when I'm doing fingerprinting, I'm definitely trying to avoid pyridine groups.
You know what? Me too. I really don't like groups getting together like that, because I think that it becomes a clique of pyridine groups, and that's just a little bit further down the line, and you end up with nepotism. And so latent fingerprints are invisible prints that form by sweat or oil left on an object after it's been touched. Traditional forensic methods for detecting fingerprints either use toxic powders that can harm DNA evidence or environmentally damaging petrochemical solvents. The new dye spray, by the way, what they're talking about with the toxic powders is that little gray dust and a brush. What they're talking about...
If you've ever seen a crime show, you've probably seen it on there.
Yeah, if you've ever seen a crime show. They dust for prints, and it actually puts little black carbon-like powder all over the place. It's a pain in the ass to get out. And then where they're talking about environmentally damaging petrochemical solvents, their super glue is used. You heat it up and it actually turns into a gas and it deposits on fingerprints, and that actually damages the DNA, the evidence that might be on it. The new dye spray developed by scientists at the Shanghai Normal University, as opposed to the Abnormal University in neighboring, I don't know, I was going to say Taiwan or something. And the University of Bath, UK, is water soluble, exhibits low toxicity. It's not toxic free, it's low toxicity, and enables rapid visualization of fingerprints at the crime scene, because all you need to do is show some, it fluoresces under blue light, and then you can take a picture of it. Easy peasy.
And you probably don't need much skill to work the sprayer bottle.
Correct, but you have to be, yeah, I mean, come on, you don't want, like, me doing it. They've created 2 different colored dyes called LFP Yellow and LFP Red. They worked really hard on those names, which bind selectively to the negatively charged molecules found in fingerprints, locking the dye molecules in place and emitting a fluorescent glow that can be seen under blue light. So I'm gonna hit play here on this little video and see what it has to say. So fingerprints are often used as forensic evidence to identify suspects at a crime scene. They're actually depositing a latent print. Traditionally uses toxic chemicals that can harm DNA evidence, or use petrochemical solvents that damage the environment. Scientists at Bath have made this fingerprint detection from jellyfish protein, and the spray detects fingerprints in seconds and then fluoresces. By the way, hold on, I'll talk about it in a little bit. So found the deposition is made by if you zoom in on your fingers, you'll see fingerprints, but if you zoom in a little bit more, you'll actually see little holes in your fingerprint ridges. In between those and those ridges, you release oil, and that oil gets deposited, transfers onto whatever it is you touch. Your fingerprints are not private. While people say that they're personally identifiable information and need to be protected, you touch stuff all over the place and you don't go wiping stuff down. Nobody is that obsessive about it unless you're a criminal. And so your fingerprints can be everywhere, and all you need to do is walk up with this spray it a couple of times, it'll fluoresce, you'll shine a blue light on it when it to make it fluoresce, and then you take a picture, and all of these little swirls and ridges and bifurcations and mergings, all of that identifies you supposedly uniquely. So the system can be used with pretty much anywhere. It's a mobile camera, and you can just take a picture of it. Spray is less messy than a powder and even works on anything, really. So it's pretty cool. I dig this. It'll definitely make forensic investigation easier. So having 2 different colors available means the spray can be used on different colored surfaces, or they're hoping to produce more colors in the future, but all they have to do is create this aqueous solution that emits strong fluorescence once it binds to a fingerprint through the interaction between the probes and fatty acids or amino acids. And then you just take a picture. So, dun dun dun. The study was published.
It also can be used on fingerprints that are week old, which is neat.
Yeah, as long as there's viable, I think it's the proteins, it can attach to it. So latent prints for an extended period of time, which is pretty rough. Out in the wild, the problem really at that point is contamination of the crime scene after the crime has taken place. So their study was published in the Journal of American Chemical Society. Yeah, pretty neat. Now they're going to be making it available for sale. Pretty cool. I like this.
Yeah, I mean, I think time really matters in investigations. So if they've located a crime scene quickly, think how much more quickly in concept they could locate the suspect.
Yeah.
Or at least identify the suspect.
Yeah, and it's not destructive. So you can actually capture the print and do DNA from the same print. because it's not going to ruin it like the dust does, or like super glue. I can't remember the name of the actual chemical right now. Cyanoacrylate. That's what it is. Cyanoacrylate. When it's heated up, it turns into a gas and it deposits on fingerprints, and other things, of course. But you put it in a smoke chamber and a vapor chamber, and it basically just mists the whole thing up. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Let's keep going though. The next article is over in Technology Today at MWC 2024. The future of display tech is clear and bendy. I chose this for Technology Today just to talk about these displays. I'm not quite going to understand them. I'm not going to pretend to, because their use seems antithetical to their use. Right? Like their form, their function is antithetical to the actual usability.
I think it would frustrate the purpose of what it's for.
Yeah, exactly. Companies like Samsung, Motorola, and Lenovo flex their imagination with concepts that'll change how we use our devices if they ever see the light of day. But Abrar Al-Hidi over at cnet.com put this article together, and one of these pictures is right at the header of this this article, and this bends around your wrist, basically in a U shape, but just enough to hold on to you on the other side, right? So it just barely curves around, not quite making a complete oval.
So it's like a smartphone, but worn as a
bracelet.
Cuff or a bracelet.
Yeah, weird, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they have the Samsung's Cling Band is part phone, part smartwatch, part fitness tracker. It essentially is a slap bracelet. Oh, they even say it. Oh, look at that. That's hilarious.
Interesting.
It's essentially a slap bracelet type of device. You wrap it around your wrist. It's touch sensitive, but it acts as all three of these things: a cell phone, a smart watch, and a fitness tracker. I'm sure you could do other things with it, but I just don't get it. I mean, do you really want to have a big old bulky band that is prone to scratch? I mean, I have somebody that is in my sphere of influence that is constantly scratching the surface of a table with a bracelet. So imagine them wearing something like this. This thing would
that would not be good.
All dinged up. So Samsung's
also, I feel like it would catch on things and possibly fall off, or be easy to steal it.
Yeah.
And also on the display, what if you have an app or something that's beyond where it curves around?
Yeah, you have to hold your wrist like that. What's on that side? I just think that it's weird, but I wanted to talk about that one in particular. They might have this other one here. Yeah. So Lenovo's transparent laptop concept is a striking see-through look, which I don't quite get this. Why would you want to look through your laptop screen? It's going to be backwards for the people on the other side. So why?
I don't know what you do with that.
Yeah, I guess you put something behind it so you can actually see what's on the screen.
Right, but then why would you need it to be transparent to begin with?
Because you're gonna flex at the whatchamacallit. What was the name of the thing? I forgot.
MWC, I think.
Yeah, MWC, the Mobile World Congress. Man. So yeah, I guess that's what you do. You flex. But I don't see why this would be useful in any case. So if you're in chat and you think you can come up with an idea why this would be useful, let me know. I'm really curious. It says, but that doesn't mean at least some won't eventually come to fruition. There was once a time when foldable smartphones sounded like a far-off dream, but now they're a notable player in the industry. No, they're not. Or take LG's rollable TV, which was an astonishing revelation several years ago, but which you can now own for the low cost of $100,000, meaning you probably won't own it. All that to say, with some patience and deep pockets, anything's possible. Yep, I guess we can dream. Time to win the lottery. Which doesn't exist in ohmTown, folks. Everybody is independently wealthy here.
Hmm.
because we're beyond money. We pay for everything with hugs and bubbles. Let's go on to the next article. This next article is over in Technology Today as well. Not everything is from Technology Today, but maybe a lot of it is. But that's the name of the show, and that's where we source a lot of the stuff. NIST, which is the National Institute of Standards and Technology, has updated its cybersecurity framework to 2.0. And essentially, what it's being extended to do is to move from high profile institutions, organizations, industrial level organizations to everybody. And a bunch of the content has changed. So if you're interested in this kind of thing, you'll really have to go and read the PDF, the actual framework. But it says that the new 2.0 edition is designed for all audiences, industry sectors, and organization types, from the smallest schools and nonprofits to the largest agencies and corporations, regardless of their degree of cybersecurity sophistication. And most of it is really about risk management and mitigation. So you become very aware of your organization's structure, and you enumerate everything that you possibly can about the risk. And then you take strides to create policy and procedure to mitigate any harm that might befall you from a cybersecurity angle, both physical and digital. They added one main component to it, which I believe is called, oh, doggone it. What is it called?
Govern.
Yeah, govern. I was going to say governance, but I think, it's govern. So that was the main thing that was added to the top of the whole flow of the processes. But the best thing about this is that there's going to be a whole bunch of guidance documents and support material that will help you kind of understand what your organization has and be able to better monitor your particular organization. So it says, in addition to CFS 2.0 offers a searchable catalog of informative references that show how their current actions map onto CSF. That catalog allows an organization to cross-reference the CSF's guidance to more than 50 other cybersecurity documents, including others from NIST, such as SP800, which is basically the standard right now. A catalog of tools called controls for achieving specific cybersecurity outcomes. It sounds pretty heady and it sounds very involved. And if you're a one-person operation, odds on you don't need this. But if you work with an agency or an organization and they're not following NIST protocols, NIST guidance, then you will certainly be at risk to some degree. But again, it really depends on who and what you're doing and how aware you are of cybersecurity threats to begin with. I would point you to this if you're interested in cybersecurity and basically all institutions, all agencies, all organizations, doesn't matter the size.
This is interesting. Does it actually, it adds the govern, but does it change the guidance, or does it make it relatable?
Yeah, I mean,
to everybody else? I suspect it updates it as well.
It updates it, yeah. And it makes it more approachable for all sizes of organizations. It really used to be the larger industrial enterprise. But now, along with local organizations like FEMA is nationwide, states have their own emergency management agency, and it works kind of with NIST kind of ideologies where they provide copious amounts of solutions or guidance that you can apply to your organization. NIST is basically the biggest right now quasi-government agency that is focused on cybersecurity. Let's see. I don't know if there's much more in this that I can't really go too deep into this because it becomes technical. But yeah, so this is what it used to be, and then they added govern. So it goes govern, identify, protect, detect, respond, and recover. And each of these actually have application in your cybersecurity awareness in your organization. You have to be aware of many, many things. I could probably do a whole show on nothing but this. Actually, many of them, but that's okay. Just want to hint at this and send you over and check it out. It says that the new edition is designed for all audiences. So if you want to go to sleep really fast, load that up and go to sleep. So let's go on to the next article. This one is in the wanted channel. HP wants you to pay up to $36 per month to rent a printer that it monitors. Yay. So HP launches...
Now we have printer subscriptions.
In a way they've existed prior to this, but you would basically get ink sent to you. But now this is apparently a little bit more heady. I mean, a little bit more involved, a little bit more aggressive. HP launched a subscription service today that rents people a printer, allots them a specific amount of printed pages, and sends them ink for a monthly fee. This has actually been around, but it's a subscription for ink. They don't monitor jack shit. Here it says HP is framing its service as a way to simplify printing for families and small businesses, but the deal also comes with monitoring and years-long commitment. So kiss my shiny metal ass. Prices range from $6.99 per month for a plan that includes an HP Envy printer. The current model is 6020E and 20 printed pages. 20 pages for $6.99 per month.
That doesn't, I mean, I guess it depends on your printing needs, but that doesn't seem like a lot of pages.
This is the same level of stuff that you would find for a commercial enterprise, not for home or small business use, but larger businesses subscribe to more industrial size equipment, and their printing has an allotment and etc. And you pay for overages and support maintenance, etc.
Right. But you're probably getting more than 20 pages, but I know what you mean.
Sorry, I had to look at that. So Sharon Harding over at arstechnica.com put the article together. Yeah, so the HP calls the all-in plan. If you subscribe, the tech company will be all in your printing activities. One of the most perturbing aspects of the subscription plan is that it requires subscribers to keep their printers connected to the internet. In general, some users avoid connecting their printer to the internet because it's a type of device that functions fine without web access. Yes. But HP forces the internet connection by having the TOS also state that HP may disrupt the service and continue to charge for it if your printer is not online.
Yeah, this is not good. Also, I'm thinking of the Internet of Things discussion we were having recently.
Yeah, exactly. Anything that you can't actually micromanage in terms of security, then I would bow out of it. So like your desktop computer, you can put a software firewall on it, like Glasswire, and micromanage all of its communications in a graphical user interface that is approachable, not necessarily a command line and not some file that is abstracted from reality. Then you can also get devices to manage that kind of stuff somewhere in your network, right? A hardware-based type of firewall, intrusion detection, intrusion prevention, things like that. But a printer attached to your network, you have no idea what its level of security is. You're not in charge of jack shit. So if somebody decides that they want to push an update and you see that update appear, and maybe administratively they can actually install an update remotely, which if they're the one in charge of the subscription, then yeah, most likely they have the ability to push an update. I mean, it's akin to a website that automatically updates plugins and stuff like that, right? So you don't know what it's doing. And if it's attached to your network,
it's coming into your home. That's
yeah, it can scan your network. We talked about this earlier. You just cannot be, and it's not if it happens, it's when it happens. And if you don't pay attention to what to do in the event of a security breach, then you're going to fall afoul of it, and you're going to be paying dearly. So it says, since HP owns the printer and the ink, it also limits how subscribers can use the equipment. For example, the TOS prevents users from using supplied ink cartridges with printers outside of the subscription service, even if it's an HP printer. So it has to be that printer, that ink.
And did you see the cancellation fees up to $270 plus taxes?
Yeah, that's insane. Insane.
I mean, this really sounds like enterprise class. It does not sound like a consumer product.
Yeah. And that's because no longer is ink a factor. It's not really proprietary because you can get it somewhere else. And if they try and do it, then it's like anti-competitive and you can end up in a court, like HP can. And so they're trying to do something to make money. But hey, guess what? Gone are the days of printed anything. I mean, we're really moving fast into a digital age. And people around me, I sit there and tell them, physical media is dead. I don't even know what paper is. I actually joke that my world is like water world. The moment that I see sand, I'm going to be like, oh my God, that's what paper is? Holy cow, really? So, printers are basically dead to me. I could care less. The only reason why there's a printer anywhere in my sphere of influence is because there are people around me that unabashedly say, I prefer paper. Really? You've got a laptop and a tablet and a phone. Why don't you use that? Oh, anyway, I've actually been told the reason why I prefer, this is the quote, I prefer real world instead of digital because when the power goes out, I still have the real world.
Well, how often does the power go out?
It depends on where you live, I suppose. So the real problem with printers, in the blog post announcing the subscription, Diana Soroka, head of the product for consumer services at HP, head of product for consumer services. Shouldn't that be capitalized? It's a title, right?
It would seem so.
Head of product for consumer services.
Unless it's a description, but it sounds like a title.
I suppose. Yeah, maybe. I don't know how that actually lays out here. But anyway, they're in charge of consumer services at HP. Boasted about how people could never own a printer again. Say goodbye to your tech troubles. Okay, take my printer, bye. And enjoy hassle-free printing. The problem is that tech troubles and hassle-filled printing aren't the products of merely owning a printer. They're connected to disruptive and anti-consumer practices from printer vendors. I agree. And devices that can't sit there for more than 15 minutes without jamming.
Yes, and printers that end up being more expensive than the computers that they attach to.
Yeah, I've got a large format printer. Anyway, so they say that's not to say that there aren't people or businesses that could benefit from access to a printer and ink for a low monthly rate. With a rental program, any changes to how HP makes its printers work could be deemed more morally acceptable since HP owns the printer and the ink. And when it comes to the problems that make using printers a chore, making a single payment to own a printer doesn't top the majority of people's lists. Yeah, I'd rather pay $250 for a printer and $30 for ink if it doesn't jam the printer all the time. It's fine with me. I don't need to do this drip, drip, drip. And I definitely don't want these people monitoring my prints. I don't want them to know that I like My Little Pony.
I don't want them to be attached to the consumer's network.
Yeah, to anything. Yeah, get away. Go away. Okay, let's keep going. The next article is over in the mobile channel. Disinfection tech uses low temperature plasma to remove E. coli from hydroponically grown crops. What's weird about this is this should be extremely rare. I don't know where they're getting E. coli from in hydroponically grown crops. But I suppose they could be using some material.
I mean, I guess, is it translatable to non-hydroponically grown crops?
Well, let's see what they say. A group led by researchers at Nagoya University and Maiho University, Maijo? I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Maijo University in Japan has developed a disinfection technology that uses low temperature plasma generated by electricity to cultivate environmentally friendly hydroponically grown crops. This innovation technology sterilizes the crops, promoting plant growth without the use of chemical fertilizers. Their findings appear in Environmental Technology and Innovations. Wait. So their technology sterilizes the crops, promoting plant growth without the use of chemical fertilizers.
Sounds very intriguing.
How?
Right.
Nagoya University is the source of this. It's posted over at phys.org, and they have this picture that talks about hygiene control being in a loop between the hygiene, the low temperature plasma and the vegetables,
the roots
crop,
or something.
Yeah. It says in hydroponic agriculture, farmers cultivate plants by providing their roots with a nutrient solution. Correct. However, the nutrient solution can become infected with pathogenic E. coli strains, contaminating the crop and leading to foodborne illnesses. How? Where is that? Where's E. coli coming from?
Yeah, where's the E. coli coming from?
Particularly if it's a liquid nutrient solution. To avoid the problems, farmers use chemical treatment to sterilize the nutrient solution before and during cultivation. No. I mean, well, no, they don't sterilize. They sterilize. Maybe I've got things wrong. I'm not quite sure in what context they're talking about this. Because normally the nutrient solution is damn near sterile anyway. All it is a nutrient solution, and it's not contaminated because it's pure from manufacturing. All the way. I mean, you put it in whatever it is, the bath that you're putting your roots in, and then, I mean, all things are equal. It's not a sterile environment if you're walking around inside your grow room. So it says in this process, the nutrient solution is replaced. Unfortunately, this can harm the environment because the chemicals can contaminate water and produce greenhouse gas emissions in their production process. This is so all over the park. I don't quite get it.
I can't quite figure out what the problem is or why this is solving it.
So instead of agrochemicals, the team's technique performs sterilization using plasma. So they're sterilizing the nutrient material that they're pouring out. So it's a new or the plants and whatever they're growing in. Instead of agrochemicals, the team's technique performed sterilization using plasma. Plasma is gas with small electric charges known as ions and electrons, and electrically neutral reactive particles in it. The team created the low temperature plasma using a plasma generator. That's very informative. So although the plant can still use the altered tryptophan in its metabolism, the radicals inactivate the enzymes involved in carbon metabolism in E. coli. Metabolomic analysis revealed the inactivation of the glycolytic and tricarbolytic acid circuits, which are essential for the bacteria's survival, and inactivation of the key enzyme GAPDH. So they basically nuked the E. coli. So it says the result is sterile crops in a shorter period, but how are they being contaminated with E. coli?
And how do they know they're contaminated with E. coli?
Yeah, I just don't get this. So Sorry, 1 second. Oh. Maybe if there is something associated with, maybe the water is contaminated, maybe.
Oh, okay. It may just be something to those particular conditions, or
But if you're using a nutrient bath, it's clean. It doesn't. Okay, so everybody who might be
so
interested in
maybe they're
this
making their own nutrient solution.
and using contaminated water or something, because just so everybody knows, a nutrient bath, if you have just regular water and it's not contaminated, you can take it from a faucet. If the water source is contaminated, so the only place that it comes from, E. coli pretty much only comes from sewage and animal waste. That's where it comes from. So animal waste is the leading cause of E. coli. So in hydroponics, you don't have animal waste. There is no source for it. So
There is human, if humans are touching something in the process.
Yeah, I
That's a
suppose if they
source
got
of
their
E.
hands in
coli
their pants.
contamination. Yeah.
Go wash your hands, you dirty humans. And this seems like a heavy lift for sterilizing something that should be near sterile out of the gate. But E. coli should not be present in hydroponics. The chances of that, I don't know. I'd have to see some stats. I'd love to know more. I really would love to know more.
And I'd like to see if they could use this in non-hydroponic applications. Maybe they couldn't, but I mean, E. coli is certainly a problem with certain produce.
Yeah, but I think they use UV right now to sterilize E. coli to kill it en masse, you know? So, let me see. Yeah, cooking it, basically, heating it up. Heating it up above 160 degrees. Yeah, I don't know. And there's more, but this is actually an interesting article in the sense that it's developing something for our problem that doesn't seem to exist, at least in my world. And that's the only one that really matters, right? No.
Hometown.
Yeah, hometown. Let's keep going. The next article is over in Technology Today again, building a supercomputer on wheels. I can talk. Modern cars are packed full of electronics. Managing all the computers and assistance systems is a complex task, and the cable harnesses increase the weight of the car. And the joint research project, CCAS, I'm just going to say that, CCAS. Fraunhofer researchers are working on a system architecture based on the idea of managing all electronic components centrally from one computer platform, which I'm sure that's going to go over really well when it fails. So, no, I'm not going to say that name. Fraunhofer put the article together over at techexplore.com. Gesellschaft. Sorry. So yeah, they want to basically centralize all of the computing power. This will make it easier to construct highly automated connected vehicles. The core element of the Fraunhofer technology is an extremely reliable Ethernet backbone that works in real time, which they might as well use Ethernet. We have the technology already available. Imagine a car with components that are controlled from a central computing platform instead of by dozens of intricately interconnected computer systems. You could easily install updates via Wi-Fi, hack the hell out of it, and control it however I want to. Oh, I'm sorry. Wait, you want a standard?
No. What if people hack into other people's cars?
You want to standardize around something that has an entire industry spawning to defend it? Sure, that sounds good. I guess job security is going to increase for anybody that's interested in cybersecurity. And by the way, I actually went somewhere where the discussion about vehicular cybersecurity was actually a thing. So there are organizations that are interested in defending your car from cybersecurity threats. Doesn't seem to be the manufacturers of the cars themselves, but hey.
Right.
So real-time Ethernet for cars. The Dresden-based Fraunhofer researchers are focusing on time-sensitive networking for their project. In order to be able to harness this technology, the team is further developing its tried and tested functional blocks for semiconductors called IP cores, which I'm sure it's not going to conflict with Internet Protocol at all. IP cores, really?
Or intellectual property.
Oh boy. Yeah, now let's just take all of the acronyms that can be built off of IP, and I'm sure this will not be confusing to anybody. The aim is to equip the Ethernet-based network technology with real-time capabilities, making it robust and extremely reliable in all situations, at least until,
there's
somebody,
an outage of the central computer system, or it
somebody
gets
with
hacked, or
yeah, exactly. Somebody with a flipper
reboot.
zero, one wire tap to it, and I have all of the telemetry that I ever could want from it. Yeah, it says fewer cables for a lighter car. I agree. I really think that cars need to be easier to assemble and disassemble instead of the hot mess that they are right now. I mean, it's really frustrating to do anything on a car because you have to take all kinds of stuff apart to just get to something like a wiring harness. Fewer cables for a lighter car. How about from domain management to zone management? This is getting into the reeds here. The computer architecture being developed by CCAS project for the car of the future represents a radical departure from current construction methods, from domain-based control of components to zone-based management, where just a few high-importance computing platforms control many modules simultaneously.
What could go wrong?
Yeah. So they're going to merge all of these systems into one source for telemetry, command and control, and then somebody is going to hack the ever-loving bejeebers out of it. And this car is going to just basically set itself on fire.
Hopefully not when you're traveling at high speed on a multi-lane interstate.
Yeah, which I've actually shown people how easy it is to hack it. Hack into a car. Once you once you figure it out in a lab, it's easy to get into in the future. So anyway, let's keep on hustling through these articles. The next article is over in Technology Today as well. Scientists have discovered a potential universal antivenom, and I thought this one was really interesting because it just doesn't seem like you ever find a panacea for anything, right? Scientists at Scripps Research identified antibodies that protect against a host of lethal snake venoms. Scripps Research scientists apparently have developed a universal antivenom, or at least are getting close to it. The article is over at scitechdaily.com. Scripps Research Institute is the source. And it says the antibody, which protected mice from normally deadly venoms of snakes, including black mambas and king cobras, is described in a paper recently published in the journal Scientific Translational Medicine. The new research uses forms of the toxins that's produced in the laboratory to screen billions of different human antibodies and identify one that can block the toxin's activity. It represents a large step toward a universal antivenom that would be effective against the venom of all snakes. But it seems too generous to say that it would be a universal antivenom, because the venom from snakes works on different things depending on the snake. So I'm not sure how one is going to block all. It never happens, particularly in human biology. It just never happens. This antibody works against one of the major toxins found across numerous snake species that contribute to tens of thousands of deaths every year, says senior author Joseph Jardine, PhD, assistant professor of immunology and microbiology at Scripps Research. This could be incredibly valuable for people in low and middle income countries that have the largest burden of deaths and injuries from snake bites. So I guess they've found something that is effective in a response from an envenoming.
I mean, this is really big. While certain countries don't really see the effects of this, there are large portions of the world where snake bites are a real threat, and there's a lot of snake bites, and then I mean, for instance, in Asia, up to 2 million people are bitten by snakes every year.
What?
It's a lot of snake bites. Now, they're not deaths that flow from that,
Right.
but that is a huge statistic. If you live in an area where it's very developed and you don't see a lot of snakes, you don't quite recognize that this is a significant health concern.
Right. Yeah, I've seen videos of people like moving back a tarp in their backyard in some country, and there's like a freaking boa constrictor that's 16 feet long and the size of a car tire, in round in diameter, like just this beast. So in the new work, the researchers isolated and compared venom proteins from a variety of elapids, a major group of venomous snakes, including mambas, cobras, and kraits. They found that a type of protein called the three-finger toxin, or 3-FTX, present in all elapid snakes, contained small sections that look similar across different species. In addition, 3-FTX proteins are considered highly toxic and are responsible for whole body paralysis, making them an ideal therapeutic target. So the goal of discovering an antibody to block 3-FTX, the researchers created an innovative platform that put the genes for 16 different 3-FTX into mammalian cells, which then produced the toxins in the lab. The team then turned to a library of more than 50 billion different human antibodies and tested which ones bound to 3-FTX protein from the many-banded krait, also known as the Chinese krait or Taiwanese krait, which had the most similarities to the other 3-FTX proteins. That narrowed their search down to just 3,800 antibodies from billions. Then they tested those antibodies to see which others recognized 4 other 3-FTX variants. Among the 30 antibodies identified in that screen, one stood out as having the strongest interactions across all the toxin variants, an antibody called 95MAT5. So they were able to zoom in on one. This was only possible because of the platform we developed to screen our antibody library against multiple toxins in parallel. That's pretty neat. Take that,
that's
AI.
Fascinating.
Yeah. So the paper is actually titled "Synthetic Development of a Broadly Neutralizing Antibody Against Snake Venom Long Chain Alpha Neurotoxins." So go and check it out. You can read more of this article by following the link that's in chat and will be in the show notes. So let's go on to the next article. This one's over in Technology Today. Transplant organ freezing and rewarming technique wins University of Washington Health Innovation Challenge. One of the biggest problems with basically keeping an inventory of organs for transplant is the sustainability of it. So if we can find a way to freeze and rewarm and they're still viable, usually the problem is that impurities in whatever it is that's freezing them, the liquid or material that we use to freeze them, causes spikes that pierce cell walls and it destroys the viability. So a team working on prolonging the lifespan of transplant organs took home the top prize in the 9th annual Holloman Health Innovation Challenge at the University of Washington. BioLegacy, made up of Seattle, Washington, and UW Finance, Mechanical Engineering, and Chemistry students, was awarded the $15,000 WRF Capital Grand Prize for its organ cryopreservation and rewarming innovation. Pretty damn neat. Kurt Schlosser over at GeekWire put the article together, geekwire.com. Obviously won't read the whole thing, but let's see if they say what the technique actually is. Yeah, I don't see it actually describing it there, but maybe down at the bottom. No, not really. Huh.
No, unfortunately, it doesn't look like it goes into much detail here.
Yeah, that's kind of a bummer. That's okay. It actually shows you about a whole lot of other competitors in the space, though, highlighting the benefit of fundamental research at the college and in partnerships with business. So, somebody that starts something in college can break it off from the college research department. And then the college and the person who did the fundamental research actually become a technology sharing partner, and the person can run a business. They make money, they make money. The school gets additional return on their investment, because the school actually, while a person is going to school and maybe paying 40,000, 50,000 a year to go to school, maybe more, a semester actually sometimes, the 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 school is the one that is investing all that money in both the equipment, the materials that are involved, etc., etc. So everybody is really um, working together to make something of both the academic experience and then whatever fundamental research is done. This is pretty neat. I'll have to go and noodle around and see what it was that they actually did. Um, but yeah, I suspect they found a novel way to minimize the damage done by cryopreservation. It's usually done with like liquid nitrogen and stuff like that, and keeping it inside something that doesn't allow the liquid nitrogen to make a contact or at contact because it'll do damage. But yeah,
Oh, you can go to UW and they actually have more information about the particular
the winner.
submissions,
Oh, okay.
etc.
Okay, well, I'm not going to do that here. Let's keep on going through today's articles. The next article is why firms are racing to produce green ammonia. This has actually popped up a couple of times, if I recall, in ohmTown, and so I decided that I really wanted to choose this as at least to take a cursory look at it. I know that the AI was interested in it too, because it was submitted. So ammonia is essential for fertilizer production, but producing it is carbon intensive. So the race to make green ammonia, the green actually refers to its carbon footprint, not the color of it. Chris Baraniuk is the author of this over at BBC. And fertilizer production is actually becoming a problem, not only in terms of its production, but its use and its reintroduction into the environment, because runoff is contaminating water sources. So it says in the 19th century, Europeans realized that the Inca had long known before bird droppings or guano made a fantastic fertilizer, and up sprang gigantic industry dedicated to harvesting guano from Latin American bird colonies where there were huge piles of this stuff. It was also rich in ammonia, the key ingredient, that a mere whiff could induce coughing and sneezing, not exactly a pleasant cargo to ferry across the world. That's actually what, like, the stuff from sniffing salts. Like if somebody passes out, you wave it, you break it, you
Aha,
wave
no
it.
wonder it's so effective.
So we relied on technology for more than 100 years. Without it, the world's population might just be half of what it is today. So vital is ammonia fertilizer for growing food. Um, but yet
So that
again,
was the synthetic ammonia production.
yeah, um, they developed a thing called the Haber-Bosch process for synthesizing ammonia. But yet again, someone is asking whether we should do things differently because the Haber-Bosch process, when powered by fossil fuels, is notoriously polluting. So off we
Look at this
go.
statistic. Ammonia production currently accounts for nearly 2% of global CO2 emissions.
Yeah,
I would bet that most people don't even know anything about ammonia production.
yeah, yeah,
The
and
fact that
it's
it's a percentage that's measurable is astonishing.
let alone 2%. You know, it seems like it's just one little factor, and it shouldn't be 2%. right?
Correct.
So now a string of companies aim to prove that they can make green ammonia or alternatives without wrecking the climate. Yeah, so ammonia, or NH3, is nothing more than nitrogen and hydrogen, both highly abundant elements. Earth's atmosphere is mostly nitrogen, and water is full of hydrogen. Starfire Energy uses electrolyzers to split hydrogen from water and then feed it into a reactor along with nitrogen to make their ammonia. But they're still using electrolyzers, which it basically electrolysis. They're breaking up the hydrogen from water, which is actually like a fuel cell. The ingredients flow through a honeycomb structure laced with a catalyst, similar to a catalytic converter in your car's exhaust. This device encourages nitrogen to bond with hydrogen and ammonia, and liquid ammonia is collected at the end of the process. So, yeah, that is why they are trying to make green ammonia, because the carbon footprint is so big. That 2% is significant.
Well, and he's saying they can do it in a couple of hours instead of days if it's through renewable energy sources.
Oh, so it's even using things like wind and solar, maybe hydro, or something other than, a carbon footprint fuel source. Yeah. So Douglas, another firm, Ammonia in Iceland, also wants to sell mini ammonia factories that fit inside shipping containers. I don't know how they're doing with the volcano that's messing with Iceland right now. That could help the world move away from fossil fuels for transportation, for example. Decarbonizing fertilizer production is important. Yep. Douglas McFarlane at Monash University in Australia is also Chief Scientific Officer of Jupiter Ionics. He agrees that there's a huge interest in ammonia as a fuel, though he adds that production would have to scale up significantly to be able to meet expected demand. Yeah, on the gigawatt scale. I don't know, man. Ammonia fuel? Yeah, there's a lot more to this article.
Oh, wow. Yeah, there is.
Yeah. I mean, this is only about a third of the way through, so. While ammonia can be used as a fuel, it can also be cracked to release hydrogen, which may itself be burned as a fuel, points out Lindsay Matlow, Senior Research Associate at Darcy Partners, a technology firm that works with oil and gas industry. We're seeing real progress in the development of ammonia cracking technology. So they end with, it's all a far cry from bird poo, isn't it? Yeah. That's interesting though, right? He praises large projects for manufacturing ammonia using renewable energy, such as the one in Uzbekistan, which will reportedly spew out 454,000 tons of ammonia per year with the help of 2.4 gigawatts of wind energy. So this is taking place in Uzbekistan, for crying out loud.
Right. Why can't we get that to the rest of the world? But there were examples throughout this article of projects on this. I guess it's just not been adopted wide scale.
Yeah. You can't be aware of everything everywhere all at once. Again, that's why I built ohmTown. The only reason why, we even know about this stuff is you may have discovered it some other way, but I know about it now because of ohmTown's aggregation. I just wouldn't be able to manage this information overload without it. So pretty neat.
Well, and if you don't know about this, you can't do anything to support it or help adopt it or speak about it.
Yep. Fondly or otherwise. Maybe you know of a different source, or not a different source, but a different solution that would be superior, that somebody is doing that wrong move. So when we talk about it, then we can share this knowledge with people that may be able to make a difference somewhere else. So let's go on to the last article for tonight. It is over again in Technology Today. It is a channel over at ohmTown.com. Go check it out. Businesses can benefit from social robots if trust is established, finds a study. I love talking about this kind of stuff. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I don't know what a social robot is, but the
Well,
headline's intriguing.
yeah, well, we're about to find out. While the rise of artificial intelligence is proving to be a contentious issue, new research from Edith Cowan University has found that the use of social robots in a commercial setting would be likely be met with less resistance. But it has a rationale behind it. It needs trust. Businesses can benefit from social robots if trust is established. Find study. The article's over at techexplore.com, and Edith Cowan University is the producer of this. The study by ECU's marketing and service science professor Sanjit Roy investigated the relationships amongst customer equity drivers such as value equity, brand equity, and relationship equity, trust in social robots, and the trust in service providers. The research is published in the journal Technological Forecasting and Social Change. Roy noted that the increasing prevalence of social robots in retail is consistent with Industry 5.0 tenets, which advocate for humans and machines acting synergistically, which is just so much marketing.
Cyberpunk?
Blah. Yeah, I mean, if you can't tell the difference, right, then does it really matter? And that's what a social robot is. It's a robot or chatbot or anything that communicates
Like a
human.
greeter in a store or
Correct.
something like that.
Yep. So the basic idea here is simple. Technology should augment, not substitute, those working in the services industry with flow-on benefits for customers. Indeed, social robots have been shown to act as entertainers, social enablers, friends, mentors to customers, which suggests that robots can be perceived as supportive, emotional, and hence social actors, explained Roy. I have the hardest time with this. Emotion can be simulated. We as humans have to buy into it. If I walk into a room with somebody, they could be the maybe somebody will poo-poo this, but you can feel somebody in a room who's stressed, who's angry, who is giving off an energy of either positive or negative. It could be charisma, or it could be some microtel, or it could be what I think is pure energy. The person themselves is exuding this. And some people seem to get it and some don't, but you're never going to get it from a robot. I'm sorry. We can impart.
No, it's going to be a pile of metal.
Yeah, right. Until we can no longer tell the difference between a robot and a human, I don't think emotion can actually play into it. We can impart emotion, but it's anthropomorphization of something that's inert. It's just a lump of metal.
I think that is it, though. Like, if you have like a cute robot that makes an expression, right? You might perceive it as whatever that expression is, but it's not really emotional.
Right. Yeah. For example, social robots have proven effective in handling repetitive tasks like transporting objects and execution of monotonous assembly jobs. More recently, they've been shown they can perform complex physical and cognitive assignments, such as identifying signs of worsening dementia in patients. Additionally, social robots are finding increasingly advanced applications in professional domains, such as assisting in financial auditing and even aiding in surgical procedures through voice-activated robotic arms. This one was from like space or something like that. So the whole thing basically is talking about having society trust the technology and trust whatever activity the robot is doing, and then we can bond to it. The research found that trust in service providers was crucial in shaping trust toward social robots. Customers without prior interaction with technology, including social robots, could not develop trust based on direct experience. In such instances, customers rely on other information about the service provider to perform or to form assumptions about how much they can trust social robots. So word of mouth. Again, hey, I like that person, you should like them too, essentially. Right?
Right. Or like if I've had a positive experience at that, whatever, doctor's office or something, so therefore I can trust the doctor's office robot.
Yeah. Yep. And you should too. because I trust them. It's word of mouth. It's, it's the same thing that happens with pretty much every business, every service, everything. I've actually had people tell me that I should trust so-and-so, a person. And I'm like, what? Based on my last interaction, I don't trust them. Why should, just because you like them doesn't mean I should. Anyway, so building a strong brand identity and nurturing long-term customer relationships can lead to greater trust, positively influencing customers' perceptions of social robots. Yeah, I guess that's the nuts and bolts of this article, but there's a lot more in it. So I think, as long as everybody believes in the value, the brand, the relationship, then you'll trust the social robot, which will, or I should say, and you trust the service providers, so you'll trust their social robots. But just today, I sent a text to a business basically saying, I don't trust what I just received. Do you actually use it? And I haven't heard back yet, but the knock-on business that is associated with this knew what I was talking about when I called the other business and said, hey, this needs to be done. And then they actually walked me through like what's going on. And lo and behold, I still haven't heard back from the primary service provider. It's who knows? Should I trust this business and whatever other thing they're using? I don't know. I definitely don't trust their social robot.
Well, it's interesting because I don't know, I don't think people are generally thrilled with customer service as a general concept. So I don't know. People like things like automated or whatever, self-checkouts in grocery stores. So maybe this will be viewed as an improvement. But my feeling is if they're already frustrated with wait times or lack of responsiveness, seeing a robot in place of a human may frustrate that further.
Yeah. I think at some point we're either going to be forced to interact with social robots because there aren't humans skilled in the art or hired by the organization, or the robots are going to become hyper realistic and we just naturally gravitate towards them because the uncanny valley has been crossed. Yeah. Okay, folks, let's call it a night, and we'll come back and talk about a little bit more involved, more technical articles like today in Technology Today. We do this show weekly. ohmTown Daily News Show is every day. And then we have 4 other shows that we are doing. So be sure to follow us here on Twitch. Be sure to check us out on YouTube. Go over to the Apple Podcasts or catch us wherever you catch pods. In the meantime, we're going to jump back into the party bus and drive all the way back down Main Street. And here is Technology Today, just like usual. We always refresh just to show that we might or might not. Actually, it depends on how fast I go through the show and how fast we aggregate. But we get a bunch of different articles and we talk about them each week. So sometimes if you're interested in a more holistic show, then watch ohmTown Daily News Show. As well as Technology Today or the Continuity Report or Reality Hacker or Wanted. And that's all 5 of them now. Dun, dun, dun. Who knows? Maybe in a couple of weeks I'll launch another 2. Sorry, I figured that you would just jump in there. At the end of the day...
Well, we will.
I am Merawat. That is ohmtown.com, and up there is the sentient AI that's, Not picking up what I'm dropping at the end of that last sentence. You want to say
Good night,
bye?
hometown citizens. Thank you for joining us for Technology Today. Tomorrow we'll be back with Hometown Daily, approximately at 8 p.m. Eastern. And then next weekend we'll have a new episode of Technology Today, as well as our other weekly shows.
Yeah, the website has said that my bitrate has been in the red this entire time, but I've been streaming over 6,000 kilobits per second to Twitch the entire time. So I wonder what the quality of this, the whole day basically has been like that. So we'll see. Can't wait to listen to the VOD. Okay, cheers everybody. Bye bye. See you tomorrow. And this is the only show that does that. Doesn't play the exit. See ya, everybody.